Let's start walking through the flood bridge analysis. The problem we have at hand is flood, which is automatically filled in because we are on the flood bridge tab. Step 1 is threat data collection. You'll want to put in your recurrence interval, which determines the annual threat likelihood. Next, we'll move to step 2. This is asset data collection. The site that we're reviewing is a bridge, which again is automatically populated since we're in the flood bridge tab. And this other asset data can be found through various resources. Those resources are listed here on the right. So for a couple of these bridge data information, you'll need to pull this data from the structure inspection report that can be downloaded from the staff bridge structure inventory. A link to the staff bridge structure inventory is provided to you here in the spreadsheet. Other data, such as average annual daily traffic and CDOT mileposts, can be pulled from Otis. A link to the CDOT Otis data search platform is also provided. The other cells, such as occupancy, slope, and cover, are all described in the manual, and you must use your best judgment to insert this information. Next, let's move to step 3, which is owner consequence. There's no data you need to put in here, but it is important to understand how this is calculated. If you want to look at what cells and data go into this calculation, go to the Formula tab and do Trace Precedence. This shows which cells affect the value of the owner consequence calculation. We can see that it's referring to the flood bridge, and it's also pulling information from a data down below. This is why it's so important to review the manual firsthand so you understand what data is being pulled, and if it needs to be updated or changed based on a specific information, you know where to reference this and how to do that. Next step is step 4, user consequence. This pulls information from step 2 and other information in the spreadsheet. Again, it is important to understand how user consequence is calculated. For example, this spreadsheet uses a calculation for one direction of traffic. This is great for most of the highways in Colorado. However, some highways are 2-lane highways, and so we need to account for both directions, such as northbound and southbound, and westbound and eastbound. In this average vehicle cell, we can see that the average annual daily traffic is being divided by 2 because we know from the manual this spreadsheet only accounts for one direction of a roadway. If we're looking at a 2-lane highway, it may be in our best interest to evaluate the full average annual daily traffic for both directions. Because if a flood were to hit a bridge on a 2-lane highway, it's probably possible that both directions would be shut down. These are the types of things that we need to understand about the calculation and also our specific sites and when making these assumptions and calculating the final benefit cost ratio. Another step in step 4 is looking at the detour information. We can go to this full closure row, and again, I'm going to trace precedence, and I can see that it's pulling variable information as well as information from a table down below. We can see in row 99, this is information from a detour. We have to get this information from the CDOT detour identification tool, which I will review after this spreadsheet. In step 4, a total user consequence is calculated. Step 5, again, requires no information input. However, again, it is critical to understand these variables and know that you can change and update these variables as you see fit. Step 5 looks at the vulnerabilities, and then these vulnerabilities are used to determine the annual owner and user risk for reoccurrence intervals. Next, we can move to step 6. This is risk assessment, and this is where the total owner risk, total user risk, and total annual risk is calculated. Everything below row 70 is information that is referenced in steps 1 through 6. The information that is provided in the Risk and Resiliency Excel spreadsheet template is standard and is explained in the manual. All the information below row 70 can be customized as you see best fit. Also note that the instructions are also described here on the right. You can use the manual, the how-to page, and these instructions to help you walk through these 6 steps. After you look at a threat asset condition, you'll want to look at a mitigation option. So for example, we're looking at the flood bridge threat asset pair. Some various mitigation options might include upsizing the bridge to a larger size to accommodate larger flows for the flood, maybe replacing the bridge with a concrete box culvert, looking at maybe installing a relief culvert. Whatever the option is, you'll also want to look at that mitigation option as well. It's important to label these so you know what you are analyzing. For this specific situation, we looked at an existing flood bridge condition. Now, if we want to look at a proposed mitigation option, we can duplicate this tab. Going to rename